Rokita, Republican from Indiana, Vice Chair of the House Budget Committee. Congressman, thank you for joining us. And hey, let's talk numbers. Let's talk budget. Right? I want your reaction to this Reuters report. $22 billion to build this wall. Who's going to pay for it?
Well, good morning, Hallie, and I hope after we talk about budget, I can get a few seconds to address the senator who was on last segment about the executive order.
Let's talk budget, then we'll talk about that.
Great. You know, the budget, $20 billion, you know, obviously a big number, but frankly, a small number when you consider how much this country spends in a given year, which is over $3.6 trillion. So, you know, budgets are about priorities, and if the wall is a priority, if infrastructure is a priority, we are happy to engage in making that a priority. But part of the discussion with all of us, those of us in Congress, the president himself, his administration, has to be if these are the important things, you know, what's going to be less important, so that we can keep working to bring down deficits, which then will allow us to eventually bring down the debt. I mean, that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
Yes, Hallie.
And to be clear, though, so would you support putting, regardless of what you end up cutting elsewhere, would you support putting taxpayers on the hook now for this full price tag, specifically for this border wall?
Well, clearly that's what the election was about, you know, one of the main issues, and President Trump won on that issue. So yes, if this is the priority, yeah, if this is what it costs to build a wall, that's what we should do. Yeah. There are different things you can use. You can also build a wall using a lot of technology. You know, there's a physical wall, there's a wall where you can use technology to help patrol the border. But a country's not sovereign if it doesn't have a defined border and can't control it. So that's what this is about, and I think it is a high priority.
So it's not just the wall, right? Because there's also the president's plan to, for example, put more money into infrastructure, boost the military, cut taxes. There was this headline, I'm sure you saw it in Politico, Hill Republicans quake at Trump's budget-busting wish list, saying that lawmakers basically have to choose between embracing the president's pricey agenda or kind of pushing back, but potentially making him very upset. So which is it? Do you embrace the budget-busting agenda, or do you push back and risk making him mad?
Well, I'm laughing just at the word quake. I don't know that there's too many of us quaking around here.
Set aside the word quake. You were quoted in this article, right? And you talked a little bit about this, and I'm curious as to whether it's more about balancing the budget. You're a budget hawk. You know, do you want to make sure we have this balanced budget, or, you know, do you support the president's agenda fully, even if it means not having a balanced budget?
Well, I think we have to continue working to balance, and I think one of the indicators that we have for determining when a budget is balanced has to be examined, because it's arbitrary. Right now in Congress, everyone talks about a, quote, 10-year window, unquote. And what's happened in the last couple of years is we force ourselves to hit this 10-year window to balance in 10 years, but then no one pays attention to the out years. Balance and then goes off into outer space with regard to the out years and spending. And so I think we have to look at it more holistically. The goal would be starting immediately, but also over a generation, really bend the cost curve down. And really, there are 3 programs that are driving 70% of the debt, among them being Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And that's after the money that we as taxpayers and workers put into it. So that's how we have to have this discussion. But no, to answer your question from earlier, yes, budgets are about priority. I'm happy to engage in the president's priorities. They are my priorities, but we also have to have the other shoe to that, and that's what is less important, if that's the case.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you, of course, about the president's, the big news today, the president's immigration executive order and that court ruling that essentially upheld this temporary restraining order against it. Do you see this fight going to the Supreme Court? As I asked go ahead. I asked the last senator if she believed the court would uphold it, and she said she did, because she believes it's unconstitutional.
Well, I was listening to that exchange, and the senator is simply wrong. President Trump hasn't lost all the time in court. In fact, there's a jurisdiction that has agreed with the president. So we have to resolve that, and really the only way to resolve that is to go to the Supreme Court. I also want to say, you know, the viewers deserve to know exactly what the U.S. statute is. And I'm reading right now the U.S. statute, which says, whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or any class of aliens into the U.S. would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation, for as long as he wants to, deem necessary, suspend the entry of those aliens. So the law is very clear, and that executive order is within the law, and I think the Supreme Court will resolve it.
Congressman Todd Rokita from Indiana, thank you very much for joining us here. Appreciate your perspective. Coming up, we're taking